Hi everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome back. And my name is Ajay. If you are checking this lecture for the first time, so I would like to actually discuss here that how we can create this Power BI performance dashboard. If you see this dashboard, here we have created slicers, and then we have used some icons, the new card visual, and we have used the table. We have used bookmarks. If I want to see, let's say, other than the product, I can just go and click on this, and you see now you have the product wise cost, sale, profit and loss, uh, low, low shipping box, high shipping box, and of course the trend. And if you want to go back to the switch back to the employee, you just go and click again, and instead of then the product, you will see the employee, right? And of course the header remains the same, but you can always change the headers, right? So I'm going to tell you all that. Here also we can have cost wise analysis. We can see cost wise total sales, let's say high sales, low sale, and then profit and loss, and then the box items, the number of items we have shipped. And here, so basically there is a definition for high ship and low ship item. Wherever there is a sale less than some specific target, which I will tell you later, then that is the low ship. And wherever we have exceeded the target, that is called the high ship. So month on month, we can see the criteria in this way also. And then this is the basically overall the performance, which tells us that what is the sales and what is the expense, right? So if you click on any of this, the slicer, you will be able to see that particular year performance, and the entire this every visual will also change. You are noticing here that some of the, so what we are doing here is one thing, if you have noticed, we are also capturing the last date as per our database. What is the cost, what was the expense, and what was the total sale. And same, apart from the total as on date, we are mentioning the recent, the latest date data also. Of course it is according to the header box item. Now these the ones which I have left, like high ship box and PNL, you can also go and create it. I have not created it, but I'll tell you how to do it, right? So how we can create this, the performance dashboard. So let's go and start this from the scratch. The first thing which we will do is we will create this entire thing. And for that, we need to understand what basically the settings I have done in my table. And I want you to actually understand that how the table, I mean, our tables are. So basically, this is our table. You can see this is the transactional table, which means that you are expecting here more entries also. So this is the daily sale data, and if you see, I have here this the data from 1st January through 31st of this the December. Okay, and this is of 3 years of data, 2000, 2021, and 22. So what was the sale and the total number of box items, right? And if you see here, if I just show you the cost is not a part of this, but I'll tell you how we have got this. Basically the tables is from employee name and through the box items. Rest everything we have created, and that I'll explain you. So this is the table where we are targeting actually the sales, right? The revenue, you can say, based on the products. So you have the different items here. As you can see here, we have a lot of different products, right? And also we have their employees, and these employees are here and from which country basically they are, so we have got this data. So day on day, as the sale happens, we expect that the data is to be updated. That is why it is called a transactional data, right? So one side we have this product daily sale. So just leave these cost and shipping. Okay, and then there is another data which we have created, which is a product cost. So here we are trying to capture the cost per box. These all the cost per box is there. Black can, choco, syrup, vanilla break. So we have got their sales and also under the category, right? Now, why actually we have created the separate table? Because we thought that, remember, the cost and shipping, these two headers are not there, so unnecessarily we don't want to actually put the information here for every product. But when we need the data, we can just go and look up the data, right, using DAX functions from there. So on the one side, if you see day on day, we have the sales of the products, and on the other side there is a dimension table. Dimension tables are the ones which generally they don't change actually, right? You have their product specifications, that's it. So we have the cost here, we have the product, and this is our fix table. If in future we have more products, of course then we can add it, otherwise this is not going to be updated day on day basis, right? So this will help us in creating a relationship also one to many, correct? Now this parameter is something which you don't have to worry. So let me just, so now since you have seen the dashboard, what I will do, I will just go and delete all this information, and we will start from the scratch, right? So let me just go and delete this. Now the another thing that we have done, since if you see the product, this data, we have here the employee names, right? So in order to capture their images, for example, or maybe anything else, I'm maintaining the another employee database where I have the employee names with their designation and their images. As you can see here, we have their images. So how to sort out this also? So let's go and check that. So right now, these are just the images. I have got all these 2021 images in my folder. Then we have created one date calendar also. The date calendar, we always need it if we have to uh, capture the date wise or the month wise data. So I have got here a simple table. Okay, so I hope that the basics already this, right? So I mean, I'm not going to create the table from the scratch here. It is just a date, and you can then use the Excel functions to calculate the year or the month name, day name, or even you can just go in the Powerquery, and Powerquery can also do the same thing. So it's all, I mean, up to you how do you want, because sometimes if the data is coming from, let's say, another database, or if it is coming from a text file, then of course you can use the Powerquery. So here if you see the date calendar, here I'm just going to explain you that what you can do is, so when you have the date calendar here, go in the add column, and in the add column you can use these options, right? Let me just change these actually the path, and then we will start. So now you can see I've changed the source data, and we have got here everything. So when you select the date here, you can use the add column, and you can go in the date section, and you can use here if you want to extract the year, the start of the year, maybe the month. So every functionality is there. So we just actually, what we did is, if we want anything in the slicer, maybe the month name or the day name, we can use that. I mean, that is the only thing. Okay, so this is how we have created it. So right now, I hope that you have understood the data. So basically there are main four tables. One is date calendar, where we have the dates and their, the day and the week and the year. And then we have the employee database, which only have the names and of course images, the name of the images that we will discuss later. And then employee, the daily transaction which is happening, right, in terms of like the product that they are selling and the revenue we are getting. So that is called the product daily sale. And then we have the product cost. Okay, so these are the four tables that we are supposed to discuss here. Okay, so now first of all, if you go back to the visual here, this is what we need to create. Now to create this, let's click on this the new page. You see, so I've created a separate table called underscore DAX. So what I can do, I can just go and delete also this, but in case if we have to go back and refer to this dashboard, so what I do, I show you how I've done it. So just enter the data, and here just write underscore DAX. This time I will write DAX 2. So if you write the underscore, what happens, this table moves to the top. That is the only thing, I mean, the benefit it gives. So that's why I'm writing. And also because I'm going to put all my DAX under that table, I don't want to scatter them. So that's why I have kept them under this folder called underscore DAX 2. So this is where we will start the data. We will start writing the DAX. So let's just go and see what exactly we need. First of all, okay, so we need to go and see the total revenue. The first point is we need to see the total revenue. And then we need to see total expense, which is total cost. Then we can also use the profit and loss, which is, let's say we want to say revenue minus cost. If you want to convert this into a percentage, you can also do that. You have to divide it, right? Then we will see that total shipping items, so how many items we are shipping. And then we have a target of low shipping items also, how many times we have shipped the items below some level, and then high shipping items. So first of all, let's go and create these things. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is that I want to create a card. Now you already have the cards in the BI, which is this, but I will like to use the new one, which is fantastic, the card new. So click on the card new. Now the difference between the new card and the old card is that here I can put as many cards as I want. I mean, I can have here more fields. So first of all, we will go and pick this particular the sales. And to understand this, we will just go and simply create a table so we can refer to the fields. I don't want to go back to my table again and again because that's very frustrating. So I will just go here and I will say that, so let me just put these fields here, country, and let's say we have the product. So I'm going to put the product also and the sale, for example. So this table has the sales, right? And this table has the box item also. Cost, I will tell you how we have calculated this. But the cost is not actually coming from here. I mean, originally the cost was not here. So the cost was here. And I told you the reason because we want to basically save some space. I mean, by the relationship we can do that by creating the relationship, because product cost will not change generally, and if it changes then we don't want to go and in the daily transactional data, right? We just want to go and do this in this table, because here we have a very small data, isn't it? Unique items are here. So see, this is what I want to now calculate. So first of all, we will calculate the sales and we will calculate the box items. So now this card that you see here, what you have to do is you have to first of all go in the DAX tool. Please ignore the DAX, this one. Let's create the new measure. So there we go. So we will write here total revenue, right? And or maybe we can just write revenue. And this is using the sum function. I'll just go and capture the product daily, and the field is sales, right? Let's just press enter. And so this is the field that we have created. Okay, and so this revenue, I will go and drop this here, okay, in this particular field. So you see that I got the revenue, which is 2 million. Okay, fine. Now the next thing that I want to go and do again is I want to create a new measure, which let's click on the new measure. Now I want the total item ship, correct? So I'll write here shipping items, or maybe items shipped, and then again we use the same thing, guys. The box items, okay, the number of box items, okay, total number of box items, what I mean to say actually, right? So maybe I will change this. Let's say we will simply just write box items, okay. So now we have two fields here. So let's go and drag this also here. Let's go and drag this. See, I'm able to drag this, and here we got the total item. Now the next thing that we want is the cost, right? So what we have done here is in our database, if you see, let me show you the table. See, this is the product daily sale table, right? This table originally does not have the cost. First of all, it has only employee name, country, product, date, sales, and the box item. Now if you see each of these products which we are selling, if you go in the product cost, they have their cost. So I want to actually use the VLOOKUP, and to use the VLOOKUP I have a function called related. So I can just say related. I can just go here and say related. You just go here, just say that new column, because you want to insert a new column. You go here and you say related, right? Related is a kind of a VLOOKUP, you can say. So here we will simply say related, and then we will pick the product cost table, which is this one, right? And from here, what I want basically this value, the cost per box, because I have here the number of boxes that we are shipping, but I want to know their cost so that I can multiply that with individual sales. So I'm just going to select this and I press enter. Right now, once you press enter, you will actually go and get the cost according to the product. Right, so these are all salt peanuts and their cost is 20. And if I just show you, you see we have got everything here. Correct. Now this because this is the cost per item, and here these are the 7 items and so on. So we're just going to multiply this. We're just going to write over here, I'm doing this, I'm not creating a separate column, right? So I'm just going to say that I'm going to multiply you with the product sale, this item, and let's just press enter. So you can do that, and of course the formatting, you can put that in the dollars. So you see I've got the field for you. Okay, so now you understand this, right? So right now, because I don't need this, I have already created that. So I'm going to delete this. Now, very important thing that I want to tell you. Now you see related function is working because there is a relationship that we have already created between these two tables. And a relationship is that we have created, that is on the basis of some common field, right? So you know that here we have the employee name and the products. So if you go back to the product cost, what is the common thing here? The product. If I say the black can, I want to check, I want to go and put the black this product black can, $30 over there. So how it is going to work? So if you go here and say that, when you say the related, go and pick the, so let's go and write here the black. This is the one, right? So if I just select this, you should be able to see that value, right? So right now in the cost, it's multiplying with this 3, right? So 3, it means that it's gonna be actually 30, isn't it? Because 90 is coming. You see that? So it's correct, right? Now this is, it's like a VLOOKUP, right? So this is the related function job. You don't have to do anything. But what I was telling you, that this is working only. So when you said that related function, if I show you this, when you said related, go and pick the cost per box from that table, right? Then based on what? Based on what? There has to be relationship. So if you go in this data modeling view, so here what I have done, this is a leave everything, just focus on only 2 tables, product daily and the product cost. If you hover here, see there is a relationship that we have created. Automatically Power BI will create this relationship as one to many, right? And related DAX, please remember, dear students, whenever you are using the related DAX, it has to be used in a table which is a transactional table, which has the many side, right? And it is always going to pick the single value from here, because what if you have here, for example, if you have here same table repeatedly coming, then related is not going to return the value, because then related will be confused, because there are so many values against one product. So that is something you always need to remember. So relationship has to be there and it has to be one to many, and then you will always use the related DAX over here in the transaction table, right? So we have used, you can see here, product to product. So this is all a simple data modeling part, and that is why we are able to see the cost here, right? Well, you can use the DAX also. I mean, there's no need for you to create this, right? You can simply go and use the calculate also. I don't know. I mean, we can definitely, because once the relationship is there, DAX, the measure can also be created. But I'll just use this because I thought that, maybe because I don't have many fields here. So, and this database is also small, right? It has only 3 years of data. So number of rows are very less, like around 7,340, as you can see. Okay. So this is how it is. About this, I'll tell you later. So once we have got the cost here, this is the cost header. So the target is to calculate the total cost. Okay, I hope this is clear, right? So let's create the new measure. And now we will go and, so I'm just going to write here expense or cost, up to you, sum, and we're going to use the cost. Product daily table, remember that, right? Because this is what I want to use. So product daily cost, this is the header name. So first of all, okay, so the name has already been taken. So what I will do, I'll just go and write expense. I think I've used this in the previous tag. So anyways, no problem. So expense is also okay. So once you have the expense, we have the expense. So I'm going to drag this and put it here. So I'll put this after the revenue, So the revenue and the cost, or maybe we can put the revenue, the cost on the top. Anyways, right now let's just put them here. Later on we will see. Now again we go in the new measure. Since we have the cost, we have the this revenue. Let's subtract this and let's see what is exactly what the profit and profit loss, for example. And so formula you can apply. See, my the purpose of this lecture is to educate you about how we can create the dashboards, but calculation can vary, isn't it? So you can use your own calculations, isn't it? So I'm simply going to now pick the revenue. See, revenue, the DAX that we have created, and the expense. So there we go. Okay, and let's just press enter. Let's see what it says. So I just want the number plus or minus. I'm not calculating the percentage. If you want that, you can do that as well. Okay, so one more field we have got here, and I'm going to add this here. Okay, and it's not showing, but we will see that. Okay, now if you go back to our data, so one more thing we have done, as I was telling you, that I want to talk about the low shipping box also, high shipping box also. So what we have done, actually we have inserted another table here, and we said that if this particular the box item is less than 3, it's a low shipping box, otherwise it's a high shipping box. That's it. So anywhere on day-to-day basis we have sale more than 3, it's a high sale, and otherwise high shipping, otherwise it is low shipping. So a simple if function we have used. All right, so I'm using this calculated column, but we may use the measures also, but I just wanted to use this. I thought that what if I have to, I change my plan and I go and try to use this in the slicer. So for the slicer, you need the header, because measures can't, directly you can use in the Power BI slicer. So that's why. Okay. What if I want to see HSP and LSP both separately in some charts? That's why we have created it. So now the field is shipping status, right? So in this shipping status, I want to calculate separately HSP and LSP. Correct? So in this case, now what we will do, we will just take the help of the calculate function. First of all, I delete this column 1 because this is not required now. Let's just delete this. Okay, so I go in the new measure. We simply say, because now we have to count some specific things, so I'll use the calculate. And in the calculate, let's say I count the shipping status, right, which is this, but there is a criteria. And for criteria, we will just say that the shipping status has to be HSP. And this I will just write high ship, right? High ship days. If we want to change the name, we can change this later also. Right now, I'm not sure. So let's just use this. So this is going to give us the count of high shipping days. And same way, let's just copy this. And let's create the new measure again. So instead of HSP, then I'm going to put the condition, which is this one, low shipping day. Okay. And now we will just put these both things here. If you want, you can also divide them, and you can see the percentage low shipping over the high shipping, or maybe on the total, so there are so many things you can create, isn't it? Now once this is done, now for the time being, this table, I think we don't need it, so I'm just going to delete this. We have got the numbers here, correct? So let's now see that what we can do. So first of all, let's go in the layout section of this cards. I'm just going to change this to a single column, because we need a single column first of all. And as you can see, the single column is there. How many cards I want to show? Well, that depends. So I think we have created here 5 measures, right? 5 or 6, I think. Yeah, 6. So just make this 6. What about the space? If you want to create some space between the cards, you can increase this, right? As you can see here. But I'll just go with, as of now, I'll just go with the default one. And then there's a background, and then there is some other things also that we have to see. So first of all, in the background, if I just go in the background, let's see what is going to happen. So we are going to use a dark theme. Okay, so if I just use this color, you see that this is the color that is there. So for the time being, let's keep this, this particular thing here. And then let's pick the values that we see here, which are very important. So these values, the color is fine, but I'm just going to use one of my favorites font, which is this one, COG bold. So this is what I will use, and I'm just going to keep this as 33 also, or maybe 25. Let's see that. Yeah, fine. Okay, color right now, let's keep this as it is. Alignment, I don't want to move them in the center right now. I will go and pick the labels, and in the label section, again I have to use so first of all, what I should do, I should go and create the the background. Okay, so then we will see what kind of basically the color that we need. So if we go in the general, in the effect, so here first of all I'm going to use maybe dark theme, let's say this one. Okay, so this is fine, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so now let's pick the, let's go and check the so layout is okay right now. Let's go in the card. Actually, these all cards, we can design them. So this is where inside the card I have the background, and this is what I am actually looking for, and I'm going to change this to this. Yeah, okay, so you can use whatever the theme that you want. And I'm really not that what do you call stubborn about the colors, so I really don't choose I don't spend much time on the colors. Okay, but again, you have to learn the techniques only. So once the color is there, now I can actually decide what I want. So first of all, let's go back to the label section. I like to give some light theme here, so I'm going to give the theme something like this. Okay, so you see that this is the first thing, and of course then we have to go and change this the callout value color also. So I'm going to use maybe, okay, so yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, so this is what, so far I think this is looking nice. And no alignment, we don't want to do anything change, the changes in the alignment. Okay, and now in this card I can change the shapes. So you can use, I will go and actually use the rounded rectangle. Okay, so you can see that these are the rounded rectangles. If you want to customize this, you can also click on this, and then you can customize each of these from from this uh, left top, bottom top, or maybe the right side. And so you just have to click on the customers just on this option. Right now I will just try to decrease this rounded corners, because I don't need so much of the roundness here. I'll just go with this. Okay, yeah. So far I think all looks good to me. And about these distance, as I told you that so here if you go above the space between the card, so something, I can reduce the space also, like in this case, right? So basically, and we are just going to keep it like this. I also want to, what if I want to give extra information here, because that is where the new card system outshines the old one, right? So what I'm saying is that if you, let's say for example, if you go and put the date here, and against the date, let's say I want to see the sales, and of course then we will put the other things also, cost and whatever, right? Okay, now if you see, this is your data. Now according to the system, the last date that we have, let me sort the date here. 31st December is the last date, 2022. So I want to show this as well, the sales and the cost, and the profit loss, whatever it is, that is something that I want to show. So how we can do that? Well, the thing is very simple. We can calculate the last date from this, and accordingly we can see that what is the, the sales that we have done. So you can write the DAX step by step also, or you can just simply write the calculate, and you can say that the last date has to be this, which is the max date from this table. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So let's click on the new measure. Okay, so now suppose, let me show you this in different way. So suppose here we will say uh, latest day sale, or just write the latest day, or maybe we can write the sale, because I don't want to Power BI will not let me repeat the same field again. So latest day sale, and let's press alt enter. Let's go to the next line. So first thing is that I want is, I want to create a variable which is the recent day equals to, so we're going to calculate this from our product daily sale, product daily sale. So I'm going to actually pick the date. There we go. Alt enter, don't press enter, press alt enter. So this is going to give me the last date, the recent date, which is December 2024, correct? Now we'll create another variable. Let's say right now I'm just going to write this my sale equals to, I'm going to use the calculate. I need the sum function here, right? So, or maybe we can just use the revenue, the DAX that we have created. And in the filter now, what we want to do is, we want to say that in our this table product daily sale, I'm using this field date. Okay, you can use the date calendar as well though, because this also has a relationship with this one to many. But I'm just going to use this because I think I will not use this anywhere else. I just want to use this in the cards. So I'll just use this date, the field which is uh, product daily sale. So let me just type in here product daily sale, and let's pick the date equals to recent day, right? Alt enter, and then finally we write the return as per the rule, return, alt enter. And so first of all, let's just change this to return. And here, and I think I haven't closed this, sorry. Yeah, so in the next line now, we just want the my sale. Okay, and this will go in the latest day sale if everything is fine. And if this is good, then we will create the copy of this and we'll just change the header instead of revenue cost. And if it is not good, then we have to see what's happening here. So first of all, in order to check this, I'm going to put this latest date sale here, and I'll change this to card. And look at this, beautiful. So we have got the 407. Perfect. So this is fine. It's working. So I will just go and create. So now you can create the copies of all these. I hope now you have understood this. Okay, in this way, please create the copies of everything. I'll just go and create maybe for box item and maybe for, let's say, expense. Okay, new measure. Let's just paste this here, latest day, and this is expense. So all I have to do is I have to actually change this to expense. Rest everything remains the same. We don't even need to change the headers, because they are part of this only. So variable, you can use the same variable, because this is under the latest day expense, which is different. But just in case, I mean, if this will confuse you later when you come back and see the data, so maybe then you can write this my expense, and then please change this here also, my expense. Okay, so we will cross check this also. So now in this same table here, let me just keep this here, and I say latest expense 180. You see that? The good thing is that if this data, transaction data, if this will have more dates in future, you will always, this will always return the latest date. Okay, so now we have got this, and let's create one more new measure, and let's create this for, you know, box items, total box items. So latest day actually, boxes, and here I will simply say box, and here I will say box, and here we just use the DAX that we have created, and which is what, uh, which has a name box item, this one. Okay, latest day. In fact, when people are going to look at this report, they will understand if you have put the latest day sales, they will understand it's referring to that. So maybe, I mean, you can avoid for the rest of the, these cards, but it's again, I'm a matter of choice. So now let's go and cross check this. Okay, so yeah, so latest day boxes, let me drag this here. So there are 6 boxes and we have to figure it out. We have to, I mean, see, cross check actually. So I'll put the box item also here, and I think we have got the right number. You can see that it's 6. Okay, so pretty cool. So this visual, tata, bye bye. Now let's come back here. Now I'm going to tell you something very interesting, for which actually I've chosen this new card. So you have to go in the reference labels. Okay, in the reference label, now first you choose the field from here. So first is revenue, add the data. So we want to add here last day. Just type in here last day, uh, latest actually, latest date sale. Just go and add this here, and now you can see it started appearing here. So we have to, of course, do the formatting also, but this is there. First of all, let's quickly set all these things. So select the box item. I'll not edit the video, because we should see this latest. Then for the box item, we need latest day boxes. Yeah, this one. So ignore this one, as I said that. So this is the one that I want. So we have got here, see the number 6. Perfect. Then let's go back here. Use the expense. So again here, I'll use the latest, and this is the expense. Okay, so I think this is what we have created so far. So rest, I mean, you can also go and create same concept. Now once this is done, so we have to, so let me show you actually, because we need some space here. Look at this. We are able to see the values. Now in this reference label, this is called a label and this is called a value. Okay, so you can format them as well. You can also do the conditional formattings, which I will not tell you. I mean, we are not going to cover. We will just do the formatting part. So I'm just going to actually, reduce the font of this. So for that, you have to go one by one. First of all, revenue, and in the revenue section, when you are here in the reference label, then select the label here. Whatever you select here, the revenue, this will come, because revenue has the latest date sale only. And then you go in the title. So my plan is I'm just going to keep them as, maybe 8. That's it. So you can italic them, you can maybe change the color. It's all up to you, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm just going to use the semi bold here, cog semi bold. Okay, this is the first thing, and you can change the color as well, which I will not change. Okay, now after the title, so under the reference label, I mean, we have the title, and then if you go further, then you go in the value section. In the value section also, I'm just going to keep this as maybe same 8, but I will just bold them, something like this. And if you want to change the color, you can change the color as well. So let's say I'm going to use this color, because then I'm going to change the background also, don't worry. So first of all, this thing. Okay, so we have this format again, semi bold, something like this. Okay, so I mean, this is something that we can do, correct? All right, so this is done now. And you can change the decimals also. If you want this to be decimal, you can convert this into a decimal. In case if there's no sale, then by default it's going to come hyphen hyphen, as you can see here. If you write here something, that will be displayed then, if there's nothing in terms of the output for that header. So now this is okay with me. So we will go back here, and again under the reference label, now we will go and check the box item. So in the box item, again, we will simply go and say this is going to be 8, and this is now. Once this part is done, so let's go back here in the reference label. So let's click on the all, and now, because we have done our job, we will use this divider, because when the reference label is there, then you can use this divider basically means that you can create some lines here. You can divide this upper portion with the reference, the lower portion, so I'll let's say, let me use some first of all, I'm going to increase the width to 3. Now you can see that the reference labels, you know, it's there, they are visible. I'll maybe prefer using maybe black line. No, black actually is not going to be visible, so I'll just try to use this. Yeah, so now you can see that this is there, right? Now so width is okay. Line style, maybe I can change this to dotted one. You see the dotted one is there. Again, it's your choice, but the background is something that we need to work. I'm going to use some dark theme here for this reference. So let me use some dark theme. Okay, uh, yeah, see this. Okay, now, so obviously you have to actually work on these colors formats, this is not looking good to me. I'm just going to, yeah, I think this is okay. So maybe you can increase the font of this value. Go back there, you can change that, if you think that it's not visible. But I think color wise, let's use something else, something like this. And now, because we are going to, so first of all, I'll decrease the width also of this divider. And I think dotted is not looking nice now, so you have to do a lot of work actually. And so this is okay for me. But now this the color of the lines we have to change. So I'm going to go back in the this section, reference label, and I'll going to just select the revenue latest date, and the title I'm going to choose this one. So I'm just going to use maybe the light one, something like this. Okay, so that's how it is. And so let me do this for every. Yeah, so see, finally we have done this. Now we need to work a bit on these spaces, because these spaces are not looking good. So let's go back, layout section, and I'm going to keep this as, I'm going to decrease this space. Okay, I think there is too much of the space. Yeah, one thing is this that I want. Okay, then the another thing that I want actually is um, this these the shapes. I want to actually change them also. So let's go back to the cards, and here let me just customize this. Okay, customize, as I was telling you. So from the right corner, I want actually, I think this is the one I will go with. So 12, and then from the bottom 12. Okay, so I think this is much better. Fine. So now you can see that finally we have created this. And of course these the numbers also, they'll, I think, look bigger to me. So I will go back again in the call out, and I'm going to change this to maybe, yeah, so we can have more space here, isn't it? So yeah, maybe some 18. This is perfect now, right? So the moment you add these fields here, the proper uniformity will come. Okay, so this is basically how. Let me delete this now for the time being. So you see, we have created our first actually the part of this. We have created this card. Okay, and now in order to see the results, how this is going to look, I will just go in the canvas, and in the canvas I'm just going to change this, the color. So I'm just going to use the dark theme, so, and making sure it is not transparent. So now you can decide basically what particular theme you want to go and use. Okay, so if I use maybe the black one, let's say, something like this I want to go with. So these are all options, the options are available. Okay, so the first part is done. Maybe you can pause and you can go and practice on all these things, and then, yeah, so guys, before we start the second the part, what I have done, I have added all the latest data over here. Okay, so now you will see that in this this report, when you're going to download this report. And if you are noticing one thing here, we have the latest issue shipping as hyphen hyphen. It's because of the rule that in case I told you, remember, if you go in this reference label, they have this option. By default it picks the values. If the value is empty, then that is hyphen basically. Look at this, show blank is hyphen. So if you go and write, if you want to write here something, you can write as well. Okay, so why this is coming, first of all, let me just show you, because the thing is, if you pick the latest date, because we are picking the latest date from this entire data, right? So which is 31st. So in the 31st, if I go and I try to pick the low shipping box, you know, you see the date starts with 29th. However, the date that we have, it's not 29th, it's actually this date. Let me clear the filter from here. So let's go here and filter this again, sort this again, sort in the descending order. Yeah, 31st. So we don't have 31st basically, right? I mean, if I just go and say in the 31st December, because if the system is picking the 31st, if I click here, okay, then you don't see the low shipping box. That's why it's coming blank. However, you can change according to your requirement. If you say that no, irrespective of that, I want to pick the latest date of the field, then of course you can do that. Then you can put the criteria first, that I want to first have the latest date from the low shipping box, not from the entire data. Such things can be done. Now let's start the next topic. Now next topic, in this topic, what we are going to do, we are going to create the slicer. And in that slicer, we will go and use all our these DAX parameters. Okay, now if you let me show you actually what I mean. So I want to create a slicer which can control the visual, and I can have all the options here, like see the DAX. I'm going to put the DAX box item here. I'm going to put the high ship day, and I want to see the graph. So the moment you start dragging these here, it is not going to work, because DAX you can't use in the slicer, right? So what you have to do, there is a technique. Let's go to the modeling, and in the modeling now, here in the new parameter, let's go and click on the field. Okay, this is very interesting, very powerful. Give this a name. Okay, so I will just give this name as, let's say, DAX parameter, and here you can pick all the fields. So we will go under the DAX too. So this is the benefit if you keep the DAX under one roof. Okay, so you can drag and drop them very swiftly. So now I want actually all these fields here: expense, high ship days, latest day, ship day, and of course, I mean, if you want, then you can have other things also. uh, uh, Sorry, not the latest, actually high ship day and the low ship day, and leaving all the latest part. Okay, so profit and loss and the revenue. Once this is done, make sure this is check mark. This is by default always check mark. Okay, add slicer to this page. So what is going to happen now, the slicer will be created based on these tags. So this is a very super cool feature. So just wait for the time, and now we can use these DAX as a slicer. Okay, otherwise you can't. So you see, you have here the slicer. It's actually working. Yeah, so see, we have got the slicer here. So once the slicer is created, we can customize this slicer. Okay, so I'm going to use this slicer here. Now, first of all, let's quickly go here and let's I mean, do all these settings. So first of all, I want this in the tile format, which is my favorite, and in the tile I'm going to use this as a single row. So let me just drag this here, and so we have got this one here. Okay, and I want to see all these. Yeah, so this is how it is. Now once this is done, so we don't need the header. We don't need the header. In the value section, I'm going to use the value section as bold. Okay, and the font, for the time being, let's keep this as it is. So I'll not do any changes over here. The border section, we will see later. In the background section, based on the theme, I can choose the color, right? So maybe if I, let's say for example, use this color. Okay, so this is the one maybe, or a bit more orangish. Yeah, so this is okay for me, so I'll go with this one. And now the font color we can decide. So I'm going to give the font color simple, which is this. And yeah, so we're going to keep this in this way. And the background, let's go in the background of the slicer also. So in the general tab, I'll go and check the effects. I'm going to go with the theme, so I'm just going to use this one. Okay, the border, I need it. Okay, well, border,
we will decide later. So first of all, this is created, and this is what I want actually, this one. Okay, so we're going to keep this, and I'll to adjust these all in a bit small size. I'll try to basically reduce this, the value, and yeah. So okay, I think yeah, this is fine for the time being. Okay, now the next step is I'm going to show this in the line chart. Okay, generally line chart I use for the trend. All of us use for the trend, by the way. So here I like to plot different items here. So first of all, we use the x-axis, and we go and use the, in the x-axis I'm going to use the date. Now what I'm going to do this time, I will use the date calendar as a rule. You always use the slicers for from the tables which has the one side in the one-to-many relationship. So in the calendar I can have a month name. you know I already showed you the calendar. If you remember, you can have a different type of fields. I mean, if you want, you can create the sub copies of the copies of this visual also, so this is okay. Now in the y-axis, what I actually want is, I want to again use all those DAX. So the box item, the expense, and high ship days and the low ship days, this one, and then the profit and the loss and the revenue. You see that? So all the options are coming here. Don't worry, the moment I click on this, you see this is going to be controlled by this. Okay, now see, this is not working. I thought this is going to work. The reason is very simple. This is, I deliberately use this just to make sure that you understand, you don't forget this. Don't use the DAX directly here, because they are not going to be linked with this DAX parameter. They are very special. So you have to go in your, actually, that the parameter, and from here just go and drag this here, and now you can see it's working. So we can see all these options. This is super cool, right? So let's just go here, and let's click, I mean, now format this. So in the y-axis, first of all, let's get titles off. Then we don't need the title on the other side also. And let me keep this box item here so that I can have a clear the visual. And then um, let's check the grid lines. So we don't need the grid lines. And I'm going to actually first of all do what I'm going to do this. I'm going to make the color background black so that I can see the things clearly. Beautiful. And of course we will have the borders also, and because it's a dark theme, so I'm going to keep the borders, and I'm going to give this maybe the white, and rounded corners I'm going to prefer this as 5. Okay, so this is how it is. And yeah, and the width also I'm going to keep this as 2 or maybe 3. Fine. So this is done, and come back to the secondary y-axis. So secondary y-axis, the value section, we want to give them the white color. And so okay, so sorry, I don't see that. Sorry, I pause under the secondary y-axis, my mistake. So let's do all these formattings quickly. So color, this one, and x-axis, again I want to change the color. I want to keep the same colors. Okay, I want to go and keep this as 8, maybe this one. Okay, so, and also I want to keep this same for the y-axis. So in the y-axis also I want to keep this as 8. Yeah. Okay, so depending upon the space, we can have this, we can readjust this in the future. So this is done. The next thing is that the line. So if you want to change the color of the line, you can change the color of the line as well. I'm not going to do that. Okay, or maybe let's just go and try this thing. So see, the series is on all, so let's let it be here. It's only showing all. Okay, so what I do is I just try to see if I can, yeah, so maybe this is okay for me. And then if you want this interpolation step, as you remember, this is what I showed in the dashboard, so this is what I have used. Okay, and the color, if you want to change the color, so let me just see that if I can change the color like this. And if I click here, now this is the thing that you have to do for every particular item, one by one. Okay, This is something you have to see. So what I will do, because this is going to take a lot of time, I'm looking for some another thing, which is what, let me select this first of all. First of all, what I do, again I go in the line section here. Let me see if I can do this. Reset to the default. Now I'll make the selection as clear all. Okay, so I'm going to re-click here, so we can see all the lines. Now I prefer that if this is possible now, because I have all the data, I can do this in one line. So now you see you have all the series, but we will prefer here all. And I'm just going to increase the, you see it's working, I guess, I don't know, but let's see. So for step interpolation, and otherwise I showed you, if you want to do specifically and change the colors, so you can. So you see I can't do the change, I cannot change the colors from here, so I have to go one by one on every this, and then I have to change. Okay, so please go and I mean just do that particular thing, but I'll go with this because this is okay. Okay, but you can change the color, what I mean to say. So as far as this slicer border is concerned, so we have to give the border as well here, because we're going to give the border to everything. So now I hope you have liked this very simple technique, how to use the DAX in the visuals and the slicers. So the visual border, I'm going to give the same color, and rounded corners 3 pixel, I guess this is what I have given before, and width is I think 2 is fine. Okay, so I mean we will keep the same width. So this is how it is. And I just, if I reduce the size, so well, I think we have a space here right now, I can manage this. Or then there's another way also, I mean we can see, but for the time being I think this is okay. Now in the slicer somehow I'm not okay with the border, I'm sorry, but these things, as and when they happen, so you have to decide. So I'm not going to give any border, I think. Yeah, because if in future I may want to move this here, I can do that as well, to save the space, isn't it? So right now let's keep this here. So this is the section number 2 that we have completed. Now the next step that we want is, we want to create another graph where I want to have all the the shipping graph. So I just copy this low shipping and the other one. So I want to fix this here actually. So let me just, and let's just move this here because I have a space here. And yeah, so now please keep the same size and the width. So in this now case, I want to do the analysis, how many low shipping box days we have throughout the year, and at the same time the other ones. So I'm just actually going to use my, because this is not going to be controlled by the slicer, this is just a simple the graph. So I will use my DAX that we created here, low ship days. So we want to count them, and also I want to count the high ship days. You see that, right? And for this particular thing, we don't need the title. First of all, legends are there, legends we need it. So legends we should keep on the top center, as you can see. Then okay, so what else we need? I don't want the title first of all. And in the line section also, um, so we don't need that interpolation as step. I'll just keep this as linear. And if you, in case if you're looking for some shade area, I mean you can use that. Okay, uh, I'll prefer the markers. So let's create the markers also, and you see we have the markers here. Fine. Okay, and the last thing in the legend section, uh, we have to change the color of the text. So I'm going to keep this color called maybe white again. Yeah, so we have this, and if you want you can change the colors of these also, but I think they are pretty much, we can differentiate between these, so I'm okay with this, right? So we have this the one visual which we have created, and let me just move this up, and let's just keep this Let's move this also here. Okay, you can always check their height and the width from this section. So when you select this, we have their general tab here in the properties, and we have this size, right? So I'm going to keep this as, right now it's 553, so this is also 553 because I just created the copy of this. So 242, and this is 242, which is okay. So now we have covered the second part, as you can see here. So one can see these performances. This is really wonderful because you see under the one slicer you're using so much of the information, isn't it? Right, so we have the profit and loss as well. So this tells us that how we are doing actually, isn't it? So this is how it is, and then the revenue is there. So we have all the basically the things here. Okay, now the next thing that we want to quickly do is we want to create a normal slicer. So I'm going to use this slicer, or maybe we can use the new slicer also, because new slicer is different. Tile slicer. So here again I'll use the calendar, and this time I actually prefer using the year. Okay, so we have the year, and I like to just see if I can just use this format painter, and let's see that we can save our time. Wonderful. So this is how it is, and this we will keep here on the top, somewhere here. And so this will also allow us to see the details basis the year, right? Suppose if I see the profit and loss here, and if I go in some specific year, I can see this as well. See that, right? So here you're not making any sort of the profits, isn't it? Because remember the formula we have used, it's the revenue minus this one, the cost. Okay, so this is how it is. Fine. So this slicer is going to work for me, and uh, let's just do one more thing, which is that these buttons we have to fill, so this is a new slicer I'm using, and the number of cards are 3. Fine. Nothing I think I have to do anything here. In the shape section, as I said, that we will use the rounded ones. So then again you can customize the style, but I'll go with the default one. I will not, or maybe I can just change this bit. Yeah, this is something I like. Okay, so then we have the callout values. In the callout value, I think we are okay. uh, let me just see. Yeah, we can change the format. Let's have the same format everywhere. So if you find me, I'm not actually doing any changes in the some font section, and I should. It's all, I mean, because I'm just trying to explain you, so you can go and do that same thing. You can not, I mean, not just understand the way I'm doing it, but you need to be sure that when you're going in the real life making the dashboards, you have to do it. Okay, because for me it's not really important. So I'm going to keep this as 10. Alignment in the center, we'll keep this. And the color, so the color is okay, I guess, or maybe color we will decide later. First, I'm looking for the background color in these buttons. So for that, I think we should go in the button section. And in the button section now, see, we have the borders and everything. So first of all, the very first thing that I want to do, I want to first of all change the colors. So I'm going to keep the same color which we have given before. So this is the color I'm going to go with. And now based on this, let's see. So accent bar, I need it. Yeah, so I like this accent bar just for the formatting. It makes this more attractive. So we're going to keep the some on the left side. I'm just, let me show you. So if I change the color, then you will come to see. Yeah, you see that these are the accent bars. So you can have them on the other, different directions. From, you can choose, I mean, from here, left, right, or whatever you want. Okay, I prefer this on this side. So I guess this is looking okay. If I want to increase this bit more, I can. Okay, all right. So if you're using this anywhere, just make sure the width should be same. Okay, so this is okay. And in the border section now, so border also I want to give. So in the border I can choose any, again, light color, let's see, with a width of 3 maybe. And then this will give the, you see that this has given the width also. Okay, so if I use maybe some light color, something like this, then this will go with the accent bar. And I think this is working. Yeah, if I try to give some maybe bluish type of, no, it's going to be very I think over fancy thing. Yeah, so this way I think it looks perfect to me. uh, Now, so in the buttons now we will see, so when you're selecting something, you see this is what is happening the moment you're selecting something. Now when I select something, this is not clear to me what I've selected, isn't it? I mean, the border should be there first of all. So to do this, uh, what is the step? So when we go in the buttons, you see this is a new feature here, like we have in the shapes, apply setting to default. Default is okay, but let's say when something is selected, then what I want. So this is the most important thing. So let's say I like to give this type of a bordering because this is looking different, and I also want to increase the width so that it looks like, it is selected, isn't it? I mean, again, up to you what you want to do, but to me this is okay. And then I don't want anything. Maybe if I remove this, in this way, but I think accent bar we can keep. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. So when I select anything, you see it gets highlighted, isn't it? So maybe you can reduce the borders of this area and keep this, or maybe you can off these borders. It's all up to you. So this is all happens because of that action, that selected one. Okay, so this navigation also is completed, and we're going to keep it somewhere here. Now in the next section, now what we are going to do is the most important part, is that we're going to create the table here, and in the table then we will have the employees, their pictures, and accordingly we will have their performances.
Okay, so now in this new part, guys, what basically we will be doing is we will be creating this table. We will be creating the table for employees as well as for the product and cost, sale, P&L, profit and loss, and low shipping box, high shipping box. So all these fields basically we will go and add in this table. Okay. So first of all, let's quickly go and have a table here. So this is the table that I want to use, and if you want, you can increase the size of the table and you can shrink the width of these. Okay, so this is how I'm going to keep it, the table. So first of all, as we discussed, we would like to have the employee name. Okay, so I'm going to have the employee name here, and we want the pick as well here. Okay, now if I put the pick here, for example, the pick, if you remember, it does not have any path. Now if you are having these pictures somewhere saved on the internet, you have a website or maybe any portal you are using, I don't know which portal. I mean, I heard that on the GitHub also you can save the data on the internet, and then there is a Azure also. So the point is, if you have the images on the internet, you can just copy the image path and you can put it here, and the pics will come automatically. There will be no challenge. It's a very clean, simple process. But since I don't have it, and I also want to tell you, what if you want to save these images on your desktop, and then how you going to get it, right? So let's go and see that. So for that, we have to do some work here, and that is very important. We have to take the help of the Powerquery. If I show you here in the employee database, I have just got the pick names. Now why I have got these pick names, that I'll tell you. But first of all, we have to go in the Power Query and we have to create a function. This function you just have to copy and paste it. You can, I'll give you this the function, and for that basically, what I will do, I will show you here. So this was the file, right, which we, the notepad which we were using. So just going to copy this function from here. Okay, just copy this function. Actually the function starts from let. So this is going to convert the images into binary format, and that is what we need, right? So it's very simple. Even if you do not know the M code, don't worry, just go to the Power Query window. I'll tell you step by step. We have to create a function, and this function will convert all the images. So first of all, if you see here, I have already created a function. If you do not know how to create the function, just right click here and say that I want to create a new query, the blank query. And in the blank query, then here just paste the function, or maybe go to the view and click on the advanced editor, and this is where you have to actually paste this function and then save this function. You can give any name, up to you. I have given this name. As you can see here, this is the function that I've given. So if you go here in the advanced editor, this is the function. So my function actually is image fx. Okay, now the next thing which we have to do is we have to import our images wherever you have saved. Okay, so I'm simply going to import the data, I mean that folder, because my folder, there is a folder and I have all kept all those images, whatever they are, for these employee IDs, like they are 21, I think, in the numbers. uh, yeah, 22. So I have got them in my folder. So to do that, we will click on the folder, because we need the data from the folder. So let's click on the more, and this is what I will do. Okay, and then I want to connect that folder, and so let's just browse from here. So my images are here in the download folder. It's here in the BI images. I've got all those. So let me just click OK. Say OK. So you will have a new table, isn't it? As you can see here, I have got all the images. Date, modified, created, everything is there, including the folder path, right? Including the folder path. We don't need all these, but right now we will just go and say transform. Okay, so these are the same images which I have for my employees. I mean, these are the images which are relevant to each and every employee that I'm holding up in my database, isn't it? Now for this, I need only two fields, this and this, because this is where my image is, and this is what has to be converted to a, that the image which I actually can see in the dashboard. So for this, we will use our function that we have created. Rest, I don't need anything. So I will just say that remove the other columns. And now this I'm keeping it because we will have a relationship with this table, employee database, with that new table where I will be having the images, and that is the column we will be using in the table visual. That is the whole plan. So as you can see, I have got the images also here, the numbers, so they can speak with this, they can speak with this table. So what you have to do, you have to go and call that function. So add column, say I want to invoke the function, let's call that function. So here, whatever name you want to give, you can. So let's say I'll give, new pick or whatever, and then I will call the function which is imagex, and the content you have to write the field name, because on this we have to go and apply. So when you do that, just within a fraction of seconds, the image will come here. Now you can see the difference between this and this. So this is what is going to help us, right? So this is the basically now, so the plan is now this table will have a relationship with this table one to one, because here also we have the images with the no duplicacy, and here also we have the images with no duplicacy. And that is then whenever I will use the employee table, whenever I use the employee name in my that table visual, because of the relationship with one to one from this to this field, from this to this field, we will be able to pick this new pick. Okay, so that is something. If you see here that I have already done that, we have already created this, so I'm going to delete this. I just wanted to show you the each and every step. Now after this, we will simply go and say close and apply, and make sure you have a relationship in the this data modeling, because that's very important. You have to have a relationship, otherwise you will not be able to pick that new, the file. So if you go here, see what we have done. Let me see that if we have a relationship or not, otherwise we will create. Yeah, you see that this is that the table which actually has my folder where we imported all the pictures, and now it has a relationship with this employee ID, and you, as I was telling you, the relationship is going to be on the pick to this name. So the name is the field that I have given. Okay, this is the bitmap one, where function has actually we have invoked the function. So this is that field, Make sense, right? Now when I'm going to select the employee name, I'm going to pick the name. I'm not going to use this because this is just an image name, but this is the one that we needed it. So when you go back here, instead of using this pick, which which is just going to help us in looking up the information of this David in that the table, and it's going to pick that name for us, which is the formatted one, the new one actually, where the function has been invoked. So sorry, not the name, binary pick. I have given that name as a binary pick. Look at this now. If and one thing you have to remember, this binary pick, if I show you here in my table, one more thing you have to do, because this pick, if it is not appearing, please remember this is the this is that particular the table, right, that we were talking. So select this column of that table and make sure in this the data type, the data category, it should be actually image URL. This is very important. You have to do that, right? Now because of that, the long, whatever it has done, I really don't know what it exactly it has done, the function applied. So just this is a bit of, as you can see, it needs a lot of space, but anyways, that's not uh, we re- we should not be bothered about it, because we are not going to work with this table in future. We just want this for the images. So this is that basically the header, as you can see, the name binary pick. Okay, so this is what we will use, and now you can have these images. So I'm going to put the image basically before the employee, and also I will just go and say that here I will press the window and the period, which is dot. So this images comes from here, so I'm just going to use any emoji just to have the picture in this way. Okay, let me click outside. So this is the first thing. The another thing that I want is that, because this pic is obviously the height, if you see the height is, it's, we have to reduce this height, we have to decrease this height, isn't it? So I can have more uh, employee names in this. I can see more employees. So this the size of this image, I have to kind of go in the image size, I have to reduce this. So here you can just go and use your own permutation combinations. I'm going to give this size as 15, and this is the, see, the image is there. You can work with the width also, it's up to you, and maybe 20, I think 20 is fine. I'll go with the 20. Okay, so this is what exactly we can do. And now we will just go and fill this table with the rest of the fields. So we have created the DAX. So I'm going to go and drag and drop all these fields. So let me just read them properly. Yeah. So first of all, I want to show, let's say, the expense, the cost wise, the data. As you can see, I've got the data. This image, I think I don't have it, so that's why it's coming blank. But when you're going to plan, just make sure you have the images of every employee, and then we will have the revenue. And then I want to, like, see the high ship days. So whatever fields you actually want, you can have it here. So then the high ship days, and then I want the low ship days, and then I want the box item as well. Okay, so definitely we need some space here, isn't it? So that is the first thing. And I also like to create some, the trend. So you can use as many columns as you want, but I'm just going to create this on the revenue. So I click on this and I say that sparkline I want. So sparkline is going to be added. So here you have to choose the field. So I'm going to say revenue. On the revenue I want, the revenue is already there, because I'm creating the sparkline on the revenue. So I'll use actually the field that I want. So I'm going to use the month name. Okay, so you can use, whatever field you want, just create this. So you see that we have got the data here. Okay, so now we can work on the other things, like I can just go and reduce this bit, this card. So let's keep this card maybe up till here. I think it's fine. And let me just drag this here a bit more. So you have this data here. Now we can rework on the field names as well. So we can have more space. So employee, I'm just going to double click. I'll just keep this as, just E for example. Expense is okay. Revenue is okay. high shift days, then again we can say that I'll just say D, you know, something like this. Okay, so okay, and then the box items. So for box items we can say, and finally this is the one where I have a very big header. So this is just a revenue trend, revenue. All right, so we can see now all the fields here, which is nice. And if you want, I mean, I can have some more space here. Now we just have to go and do the formatting for this. So I will just keep the for this style. This I will not use any of the style because I will just use the background actually as dark. So I'm going to use this as black, right? I am not interested in the totals also, so that also we can see. But before we do that, let's go in the value section, and here I can have a format as 8. I mean, according to your requirement, you can keep this. And then the text color, the background color, it has to be black, and the text color I'm going to keep it as you know white. Alternate background also I'm going to make it black. Okay, so I'm just going to make this completely black, and the text color again the same, like this. All right, total, as I said, we don't need the total, so I am not interested in the total. So you have to, you got more space because of this. The total, it has removed and it has given us some space. And now the column headers are there. So for column headers again, I can use maybe 8 or 9, and alignments. So alignment center, background color again. So I can choose the background color. I mean, you can see what color you want. Okay, so maybe if I go with this, and the text color, so let's say, so you can be you can be particular about these all colors, right? So but the main thing is the technical thing, not the formatting, isn't it? So let me see if I can have semi bold. Yeah, so for me this is looking nice. And alignment wise also, you can align them in the center, all up to you. So for now, I think this is looking okay. And so we will just have some, I mean, let me just increase the width of these. Actually, I can do one thing because trend is required, so why not to increase the trend. Okay, let's keep them same because trend is very important, right? So for trend now, we let's go to the sparkline and let's make it visible. So we first go and choose the color. So I'm going to use this color. Width you can increase to 2, 3, or whatever. You can see this is how it's going to look like. And if you want the markers, I want the marker for, let's say, every highest point or lowest point, whatever you want to choose. So let's say I choose the highest point. And for that, you can use again a color of your choice. I'm going to give maybe the white one. Okay, you can increase the size of this if you want, like this. So this tells us this is, I think, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, isn't it? So this is done, right? Now once this is done, we have to create one more visual here where we will just go and change the employee to product. Rest everything we will keep the same. Okay, so let me just, first of all, so for that we can do with the help of the bookmarks. So to create the bookmarks, because this table I can recreate again very easily, that's not the problem at all. So we will simply go and create a bookmark. So for that, what I will do, I'll create a shape. First of all, let's say a simple rectangle, and I want this to be here, small one actually. I prefer keeping this here. I think this instead of here, or maybe in the center, it's up to you. So let's keep this here. And now we will have two circles. So this one, and let me just keep this way. I'm going to put this here, and for this, let's see that, let's go in the style. I'm going to change the color, so I'm going to keep this. And border wise, let's say we want to give some border, so I'll give this border as white, and the width has to be maybe something like this. Okay. All right. And then this is my product. For that, I'll use the title. I go here and say P. Sorry, not the title actually. Let's see that in the shapes. Yeah, this is what I want actually. Text. So I'm going to use the P. Okay, P, as you can see. Let's make this bold. Yeah. Okay, P for product. That's it. Well, I guess I'm okay with this. Once this is done, let's create the copy of this. Copy and paste and put this here. Okay. And then this E. Okay, so one for product, one for employee. Now, how are we going to do this? Before we add the bookmarks, let's simply go and create the copy of this table. So I'll copy this. I'm going to paste this somewhere here. Okay, so it's pasted there. I have to move this from here. So let me just keep this for the time being here. Let's go and change this employee to product. And for product, if you have a product images, same process you can do for the product also. Make sure you have all the product images in your folder, and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to use the same for the time being, or I think we will not be able to see this if I use the product. So but you got the idea, right? So that's the most important thing. So for the product, I'm going to pick the product cost, because here we have the unique value. We always use the one-sided, the axis labels or slices from the one side table. You should always do that. So here we'll put the product, and I just remove this. Okay, and somehow it's able to show me the icons, but they are not the icons, the product icons. But for that, you can now do the job. Now once you have this table, we don't want this table here. We want, when I click on this product, the product table should come, and then the product icon should be invisible, and this should be visible, so that the user can then click on the employee and then can see the employee. So this process we have to repeat. Now for that, we have to go in the view section and click on the bookmark and the selections. It's very easy. Okay, like this. So now I've already created some bookmarks, but I'm going to show this once again for you. First of all, add the two bookmarks. So these are the bookmarks. So let's say this is the bookmark is showing product for P. Okay, and this is, so bookmarks are kind of, they can record your steps, and this is for employee. So these are the two bookmarks I have created. Now please see these, this one, and this one. These are three shapes, including the two tables. So we have four visuals, five actually, where we have to go and work, right? So if you select this, you can see this is the selected one. So this is the product. So double click here, or right click, or rename. So we should give this a name, so we should know what we want to highlight and what we want to hide. So I'm going to name this as button, because this is a button. So I'm just going to say button, and this is my product, button product. Okay, then you can select from here also, it's all on you. So when you select this gets highlighted. So this is a simple box, so I'm just going to write box. Okay, simple box, and then click on this. So this is my button employee, as you can see. So button employee. Okay,
All right, then the tables are there. So this table, you see this table actually is an employee table. So I'll give this a name called table employee. Then this is the table, this is highlighted, and this is the table product. So we have only these visuals, so we will work on only these visuals now. Okay, now this is the bookmark. Click on these buttons and say that you want all the steps, whatever you're going to record, it should be on the selected visuals, not should be on the all visual. Because if you use the all, then it's going to see all these, it's going to see all the, these visuals in your this calculations. Now in this we have this slicer also, we have these cards also, right? So at your own comfort level, how do you want to proceed, right? When you use the all visuals, so all visuals by default they become a part of bookmark, but right now I want to be specific only on my 5 items. And for that, if I select on this, it means for me it is mandatory to select all those while updating it, those steps. Okay, so this is how I do it. So I'm telling you, so just select the selected visual for both and re-click and see if it is there or not. Now it is on the selected visual. So now you have to remember that first you have to select all these buttons. Okay, or maybe just hide them, unhide them, but before you then click on the update, make sure they are all selected so that it can pick only the selected ones. I mean, that's the point. So now let me have some space here. So first of all, we want that when I click on this showing product, so this should be invisible and this should be visible and this also should be visible. So what I will do, I will just first select for my own comfort level. I'm going to select all these three, and then this four, and then and this one. You see that all are selected. This, and this and this all are selected. Correct. So once I have selected this, now I can easily focus. So when somebody clicks on this button, this bookmark we will fire. We will run this bookmark, and in this, then the button product, we want to actually go and make it invisible. And let me select this again so that it should still be a part of selection. This is very important because when you click, then it becomes unselected. And then which table we want? So we want the product table. So product table is there, and this we don't want. So just make it invisible. Sorry, not this one. You can always redo your steps, undo your steps, not a problem, but make sure they should always be selected. So table exactly product for, yeah, so this is the table that I don't want. Look at this now. So this and this should be visible. Now let me select this again. So these are the 5 visuals, and now in these, out of 5 visuals, these are 2 invisible. So now you can go and say update. Now this step is recorded. Okay, so now once this is done, let's click here, somewhere here. Now for same we have to do for this. Now for this, again I will select using the control key all these visuals once again. And now showing employee. So button employee, do we need this? No. So just click here, invisible, and then you want the button, product button you want. So click here, re-click here to select this, right? And then the table product should be invisible, and the other table, this where is that table? Yeah, this one, this should be visible. And see, I have done all the job. Let me select this again using the control key. Yeah, fine. So we have still have 5 visuals that are selected, and their status is updated, and we just want that this to be updated. Okay, once this is done, no need to worry now anything. Now just to make yourself comfortable, I mean, if you want, you can have all them visible here, no problem. So bookmark selection is done. If we need it, we will again use it. I will remove this, but for the time being, or maybe we can remove, no problem. Okay, so now in this, select this particular shape, and go to the action area of this. We want to run the bookmark, so select the bookmark, and in this bookmark now what you want, because when user clicks here, control and click, I want to show the products. That's what I want. Now you please select this, go in the action again, bookmark. Now we want to show this one, employee. I think our job is done. Now let's see. So if I control click, you have to control click. If I click on this, or let me correct this first of all, because when I clicked on this, it took me in this report and I was wondering what is happening. So basically I used the wrong showing P. I'm very sorry, I was using the wrong one. So yeah, so now let's click on this. Look at this. This is working now, right? So this, now we can move this from here. I'm just going to align this right over here. Since it is a copy of the same table, so we don't have to worry about the size of this table, the height and the width, everything will be same. So now if I'm just going to click on this, you see that I've got the employee and now the product is available. So this is all about the employees, and you can have here as many fields, and you can of course reduce the width of this as well. If I click on this, then you see I can see the product wise data, and here you see that I can scroll also. Okay, so because the product is taking a bit of width, so maybe I can try to keep it in this way, isn't it? I mean, again, up to you. In fact, what I'm going to do, let me just keep this as it is. For product, first of all, let's go to the visual. The product is fine, but since we have used E for employee, first of all, I'll keep this as P. Okay, you can align all of them in the center or the left. I mean, it's all up to you, that I leave it to you. Yeah, so finally I have further kind of worked on the alignment part. I have reduced the width and I increased the width of this. So see, now this table looks like this. So we have the data available here. And please remember that because this is employee database, so these are the employees, so we have the trend for them throughout the year. But it may happen some of the products they have not sold. So in a case of in a case of the product, when you click on the product chocolate shake, it may appear only once. Okay, so this, and as you can see here, we have basically 3 months of data. So what I'm trying to say is that this is because the employee may not have this product, he may not have sold, she may not have sold this product throughout the year, but just January or any. So please I mean, look at this part, because this is just a dummy data. Otherwise you will see the full trend line. And also, as I said, it's not mandatory necessary that we use the same fields. We can use different fields also. Okay, so this is how it is. And on the other side here, if I click on this, I can see the box items and all that stuff. Okay, now finally, what the last thing that we can do, you can apply here all the icons also. So you can create the icons, you can download the icons, you can create them in Excel or maybe in the PowerPoint, all up to you. I'll just show you just how to put the icons, and then I'll stop the video, and now then you can go and practice. Okay, so here we can, I mean, you just have to say insert and say whatever the image you want. But in case if you want to insert the images in the card, so how you can do it, you have to go to the card section here in the images, and here if you say all and you click on the image, all the images will be inserted here, right? But because we want to insert the images, separate images for every header, so you have to keeping this 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 click on the series and click on the revenue first. Once you are on the revenue, then you have to click on the browse, and wherever your that image has, you can go and get that from there. So for example, so I'm going to show you. So yeah, so you see this is my profit and all. So I'm just going to pick this sales. Okay, because we are talking about the revenue. So just click open, and now you can see the images inserted there, right? You can make this transparent if you want. Okay, position, you can change the position. Where do you want? I want to keep this right of the text. If you want, you can keep this on the left also, so it's all up to you. Okay, so I'm explaining one, and rest you can add. One is this thing, and then alignment wise you can see how do you want. So you can click on these different tabs and see if it's something is happening. If nothing you see, don't worry, you can use these fields because it may be because of the image size. So fixed size, it's on. You can also, I mean, instead of the auto, you can pick your own size. So I'm going to keep this a very small size, as you can see, not 10 actually, but maybe 19, 20, something like this, or maybe 25. I mean, just see that. Okay, so you see the image is coming over there, right? So I'm going to go with the 35, let's say. Yeah, this is okay with me. Okay, so all the images when you're going to create, make sure they are of the same size, so that you can, when you go and work on these, they look, there is a uniformity, okay, across all. So rest we don't need anything. Okay, spaces between images, you can increase the space and decrease the space. This is all, I mean, you can go and do between this and this. So this will also be subject to the image size, since we have already kept our size as 35. So I found that, even if you try to kind of increase the space, you don't see that here because of the image size. Okay, so but this is for this reason. Okay, so I'll just keep this as it is, and now you have the image. Very nice. So the next time when you go for the box item, just again pick the box item, and we will have all these images here. And that is how you can use this. And also, if you don't want to go in the card, then the process is very simple. Just insert image. You can pick any image, right? So let's say I want to, this is my company logo, maybe, I don't know, but let's say I'll just double click here. So you can use your company logo as well, because you can make your company actually proud. You can make your country also proud, obviously, because you're going to help them in their economy, isn't it, by creating these fantastic uh, the dashboards. So this is how basically this entire thing is. Okay, and the last thing which is left now is the gauge chart. So gauge chart is very easy. Let's click on the gauge chart here. We want to show the performance uh, about the expense, and you know about the cost and the profit. So cost will go in the target, that is my target, and sales, the revenue, how it is. So automatically this gets created. I can take the help of any visual. Let's see if we can have the same color, format painter, and just click here, and you see this is working. So why should I waste my time, isn't it? So this is something we're going to keep this here on the top, right here. And we can work on the data labels. So for data labels, I will use this white font. So you have the data labels here. We don't need this decimals, we just need a small number. First of all, I'll just keep this as 8, and in the decimal I'm going to keep this as 0, right? So we can see this clearly, and this part is done. Target, we don't need the label for that, because target for this is okay. If you want to change this line, you can change the line color from here by clicking here on. In the callout value, again, callout value is your performance, so that's definitely we need it. So for that, again, I'll use a light color, and I don't need actually the decimal. And here, most of the values I always use huge board, and so that's how basically uh, we can create this. And see, the border is also there because we use the paintbrush. So I'm going to keep this here as something like this, you know and then I see the title is this chart is having a title which is visible. So I quickly go and remove the title also from here. And yeah, that's it. So we can move this bit here, you can keep this here, and that's how the performance is there. And of course, you can create the border for this visual also, which is left. So I mean, just please go and do all these things, right? And then the things will be fine. So I'm going to create this again, the white, sorry, not very sorry, actually, not the background, but the visual border. So rounded corner, I think we have kept 3, if I remember, and the width was also 2 or 3. And so this is going to be like this, right? Yeah. So finally, thank you so much for joining me in, and that's how you can go with this the visual. And so you can have more, I mean, more options here. You can show more targets item shape wise or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of things you can create in this dashboard. Okay, so this is how it is going to work. And perfect. So if I click on this product wise, if I click on this employee wise, we have all the data here. Fantastic. All right, thank you so much.